And we are live.
All right.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 537. My name is Jared, and tonight I'm here with Alex of the Noticing Caucus chairman.
A lot of people are noticing, so this caucus is growing pretty fast. So get in while you can.
And special guest Eric Dietrich is back.
Hey, what's up, y'all? So happy to be back on my favorite show. It's always a pleasure.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, and we're going to have another guest coming on in a bit. It's the Libertarian Goth. So that'll be fun. What's up, Brandon?
Yeah, first time on the show, so it could be great. Who knows? We don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out soon.
Got a lot going on. How you guys doing? Everything good? What are we drinking tonight, boys?
Dude, all I've got is leftover camping beer, so Miller Lite.
They're kind of skunky.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Got a little Jim Beam on ice.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, I like that mug, dude.
Dude, this is like a handmade mug that Emily got in Virginia
Oh, it's got little feet on it.
by some artist and craftsman. She got a whole set of like pottery, not pottery, like bowls and another mug.
Hell yeah.
Shit.
I'm drinking this Yingling German style Bock beer that I was surprised that you could get it down in Maryland. Usually, like variety other than like your traditional Yingling lager, it's kind of hard to find some other varieties of Yingling, but it's pretty solid.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice mug yourself.
Oh, thank you, man. Big old frosty mug.
Can you still find the black and tans around here?
Yeah, actually, I'm probably crack one open a little later, but yeah, it's kind of you find it here and there, but
Yeah, I always like those.
The closer to the motherland, or the fine state of Pennsylvania, like everything's available. But yeah, man. Whew. You guys, let's see what do you want to jump off with, Jared? We got a lot of things happening this week. A lot to recap. A lot to get into.
Well, let's see here. I guess we can start off with the Israeli diplomats that were killed at the Capitol.
Yeah, that was just last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, just last night. Let me just pull up an article here.
And this dude flew out from Chicago. The minute he did it. Yeah.
2 Israeli diplomats shot, killed during an event at Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. By a man who allegedly yelled, "Free, free Palestine," after he was detained.
Okay.
30-year-old man identified as Elias Rodriguez of Chicago is believed to have committed the act alone and is in custody. I don't know where it says it, but apparently he said that he was inspired by Luigi. So,
there no videos. Well, it looks like there's one up top, but yeah, as soon as he was detained, it's just like a robot, just constantly going into the standard chants. He admitted it. He actually showed the police where the firearm was. I don't know. Was he MK'd Ultra by Mossad, and is this an op? They've been known to kill their own just to garner sympathy, to push their agenda. I've been noticing these things as of late. So
that's possible. I think people are mad enough, though, that this was bound to happen.
That's true, too.
I mean, I'm surprised we haven't seen like a larger terrorist attack of some type.
Probably because they're just a bunch of leftists and are incapable of actual violence. Well, like violence as in like actually carrying out, other than just reeing and ranting in the streets and blocking streets and just making life miserable for everybody else that just wants to live their life. But I mean, yeah, to your point, yeah, I'm surprised it's not happened more often, or it's going to happen more often, just because, who knows?
I mean, something's bound to happen, right? I mean, we're going to see blowback from this at some point. We're going to see the next 9/11 or, Oklahoma City or what have you. Pulse.
What does a diplomat do?
What what exactly does a diplomat?
Diplomacy.
So like they're not the Congress people, but they are they some kind of go-between, or do they just represent? Like I really don't know.
So my brother-in-law, his father was a diplomat to the United States from Toga, or like representing Toga.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So he grew up in the Beltway, and basically his father was like at the embassy of Toga for in DC. So I don't know, just representing the country. I mean, obviously
I mean, I think
Israeli diplomat.
they talk to like foreign leaders, I think, or
They
other
communi-
diplomats, and
They communicate with their
negotiate
APAC
shit.
people, make sure.
I mean, what
make
are
su-
Israeli diplomats doing? That's like
Yeah.
a separate question.
Yeah. What exactly are they doing?
Yeah.
Making sure the money keeps flowing.
According to ChatGPT, they act as the face of their home government in a foreign nation, attend official functions and meetings with foreign leaders and officials.
I heard because they're diplomats, like this dude's already facing the death penalty.
Oh yeah.
And he apparently flew like the gun he was carrying with. Apparently he's he actually checked it in his luggage and flew with it and everything. Like this guy was. That's what I mean. It kind of seems like it's this guy MK Ultra.
Wait, because he checked his luggage?
Well, no, he had the firearm with him. Like he flew out there on business. It was business related. So was this dude lone wolf or was this dude like MK Ultra and like helped out? Like, all right, you could. This is your flight. We'll fly you out.
But I mean, what do they really have to gain to just like make the Palestinian supporters look bad? I mean, it's not going to stop anybody. Like, no one's going to be like, all right, genocide's cool. Like, I don't want to be associated with this guy, so I guess genocide's cool now.
I guess build a case for more laws against anti-Semitism and cracking down on free speech, and that yes, we do need to deport students that are legitimately protesting, or anybody protesting, or anybody outspoken against what's going on with what's going on in Gaza could potentially be a terrorist threat, and they need to be building up sympathy for Israel, because right now the Israel fatigue is real. People are sick and fucking tired of it, and they're noticing, and they're sick and tired of, like, especially as our quality of life diminishes here in the United States, and then they see the fact that billions of dollars is being funneled to Israel and to the military industrial complex to basically carry out a genocide. It's kind of the patients are wearing thin. Like, people are sick and tired of it. And when you have, our Congress critters bought and paid for by APAC, and so build up sympathy, like, oh my gosh, this is awful. They killed a diplomat and they were at the Jewish museum, and I don't know, like, just kind of building a case.
Maybe
sympathy.
I think they count on this stuff is like they just expect this stuff is going to happen to some degree, right?
I mean, blowback's real.
What's that?
Blowback's real.
Yeah,
so blowback could just be a lone wolf too.
Yeah, blowback, lone wolf, whatever. I mean, something is bound to happen when you're carrying on this horrendous, like, atrocity, and there's clearly a lot of sympathy for the people, for the victims. So
and the fomental war with Iran. I mean, they've been trying to push that for the longest time. I mean, how often have we heard in our lifetimes, Jared, like, Iran 1 week away, 2 weeks, like, they've been like always 1 week away from building a nuclear weapon, and it's constantly.
Yeah, that might be something to look out for, where they're gonna be like in the news, like tomorrow, this guy was tied to Iran or had some kind of Iran connection.
Yeah, or
Elias Rodriguez of Iran.
Yeah, they chose poorly.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they could have done better. They didn't. They didn't send their best. If this is an op,
they tried to pull that with the Trump shooter, the Thomas Crooks, right?
Pull what with him?
Like, they were like floating around like that he was connected with Iran in some capacity.
Oh, really? I never heard that.
Yeah, they did.
Trump even said that.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Oh
didn't,
yeah,
like, stick,
yeah. I think I
but
kind of remember that. Yeah,
I don't know how they floated that out, but they're like, yeah, he had some kind of someone from Iran talk to him, or I don't remember how exactly
he
what
went
it was.
to an Iranian falafel market one time.
But
He bought some hummus.
yeah, how about that? That story has been completely memory hold.
Dude.
And you figure now that he's president, and you have, you know, you figure they'd be looking into that a little bit more. You figure maybe there more would be revealed about that. You figured that with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino in the FBI, they might get to the bottom of that, But
Well, you would think Trump would want to know who,
right,
like, who was responsible for trying to kill him,
right. or
like even if it's just what I think is probably the most likely thing, which is like the Secret Service essentially like let it happen.
yeah, that they're retarded. I mean,
Like, why haven't we heard anything about him gutting the Secret Service and
Yeah.
like I don't know, hiring out or something, outsourcing that shit to the private sector, like. But no, he's just like, all right, I forgive you guys. Like, keep protecting me, I guess.
It makes you think about, I think, the power of the deep state and who's in control, who's controlling who, and what levels and layers of cover-ups to things there are.
Yeah.
Because there's probably a reason he's not bringing it up. Like you said, it'd be imperative to kind of get to the bottom of that. But why would you let it go unless there's some kind of like someone's telling you that you have to for certain reasons or whatever.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, look, we almost let you die before, so we can do that again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably weighs on him. Like, you would always have to, I think, expect that if you're that high in politics that people are coming after you physically and in all kinds of ways. But then it really happened. And so now it must weigh on you even more. I mean, like, that's never going to not be on your mind, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, assuming it wasn't like a total op that he was in on, which I guess is like one possibility. Yeah, like, dude, I mean, I can't imagine why he would just want to even continue. Like, I'd be like, all right, dude, I'm fucking out.
Yeah, dude, just
like,
chill.
These motherfuckers are trying to kill me. Like, I'm just gonna go live on my fucking gold palace and do my thing. But yeah, let's bring our guest on.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome, Libertarian Goth.
Hi.
Thanks for joining
Thank you
us.
for having me.
Yeah,
Hell
absolutely.
yeah. First time on the show. Introduce yourself. Tell us all about you.
Oh, goodness.
From the beginning.
Well, I am from the beginning. Okay, so
Tell us the whole
my
story.
mother and my father once loved each other a long time ago. I'm like I guess a millennial goth. Never grew out of my goth phase. But I also never grew out of my rebellious phase, which is what rolled into my politics. Went from being liberal back in high school, back when they used to be anti-war, to finding the word of this wonderful man here, Ron
St.
Paul.
Ron Paul. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And I have not looked back since the bump stock ban. That's why I went from libertarian leaning conservative to full on libertarian now. So yeah, that's what I'm about. That, and I am obviously big about the alt culture scene. I have alt culture leaning gear. I have an alt culture and music news site that I just threw up. So yeah, that's me. That's what I do.
Welcome. And you're from Texas?
Not from Texas. Nashville is home. I live in Texas, yeah. But Nashville is home to me. But I do love Texas.
All right. Nashville's good times.
Tell you.
Concur.
Yeah.
Yes, awesome. We were just getting into cover-ups and we were going to get into, and Jared, I don't know if we have it on the docs, but the recent interview with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino trying to gaslight us or trying to convince us that, Epstein didn't kill himself. He definitely killed himself. He committed suicide. and you see these videos, and I'd have to find one of them, but where you see these videos of Bongino when he was interviewed prior, like not 2 years ago, but on his podcast about how he's going to get to the bottom of this, or we need to get to the bottom of this. And then just this recent Fox interview with both of them, they both just caved and were like, yeah, he definitely killed him. He killed himself. There's suicide. I've seen all the docs, and it's like, to Eric, like,
you've seen all the docs, but we haven't seen all the docs.
Yeah. Remember that?
Because of national security.
Yeah. Remember, like 2 months ago, they had like the whole like Epstein reveal part one, and they all came out of the White House. It was all
with
redacted.
all the TikTokers and shit.
Yeah. That was insane. Well, like it's like if you really did, yeah, just show it to us. If you're so confident in what you're telling us, just show us. It shouldn't be a big deal if he really did kill himself. Just show us the information. Show us the evidence.
Right. And I mean, if they're claiming it's a national security issue, that kind of makes you wonder why. Like,
yeah,
what, I wonder what nations were involved.
I don't know. I'm just noticing.
Some pedophile, like, in jail, like that shouldn't be a national security issue if it's a suicide. Right. Now, if it was a assisted suicide, or saying that, oh yeah, he killed himself because he got involved in this. Yeah, that you can kind of just try to gaslight and beat around the bush that way. Because in a way, I'll agree. Yeah, he kind of did kill himself in a roundabout way by doing what he did, by being a disgusting pedophile, getting involved with high level people. But as far as the act itself goes, the autopsy itself even said that there was like something about in his neck that he could not have done with the force that was there. So no, he absolutely did not physically kill himself, and they need to be more honest about that because we know better.
Yeah, there's so many red flags. Oh, all the guards fell asleep and the cameras went off. Whoops.
Bloops.
Yes. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, Alex, I think you shared this. This was Elon getting interviewed.
Oh yeah, this one.
I do want to ask you about US aid and the comments that Bill Gates made the other day, and I know that you called him.
Yeah, he's a huge liar.
I know you've said that already. I wondered.
Also,
and I'm just.
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
I love Elon. I love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's based.
Yeah, Bill Gates met with Epstein several times.
Multiple times. And then...
Isn't that also what took part in his divorce?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his wife Melinda divorced him because of his relationship with Epstein. And he claims that, it wasn't a big deal or he regrets it. But I mean, if it was enough to be an impetus for divorce, I mean, something's going on there. Yeah,
and that let's just shift the money around here because they knew something was going to go down, but unfortunately, I don't think anything's going to come out of. I mean, we all know
nothing's happening with this list.
No,
I mean, shit. Is anything going to come out with? What's that?
What does she know?
Yeah.
That she could have been threatening herself to keep quiet because she's got to know something enough to, like you said, to make it big enough for a divorce.
Right.
It was also probably like, if I divorce this guy, I get how many billions of dollars?
Yeah, and I don't have to deal with his shit anymore.
Like, all right.
With his pedophilia.
And his emoji-looking self.
Yeah.
The pregnant man emoji looks like Bill Gates.
Yeah. Putting it down in the chat here, but yeah, carry on. I'm sorry, man.
I was just gonna say, I wonder what's gonna happen with the Diddy list. Is there a Diddy list?
I mean,
we all kind of forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's already been kind of memory hold. But
no, I was just apparently. So apparently, Kid Cudi. You guys know Kid Cudi, the rapper.
Kind of. I don't really follow any like newer.
He's not newer, dude. He's really? Actually old. He's actually like
early 2000s,
like early 2000s.
Okay.
Know the name, yeah. Heard of it.
Yeah. But anyways, apparently, so he testified today that Diddy like firebombed his car in like 2012 or something like that. So
I think it's because he was like dating his girl or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he
that's
was
it.
like confiding in him.
Yeah,
What a
exactly.
psycho.
I know. So yeah, there's shit. It's going on. It's not memory hold.
Yeah, I mean, but do you think he's going to stay alive throughout this whole ordeal? He might, because I don't know, man. I think it's going to go deep. I think he's like totally, because you see like all these other individuals in entertainment are distancing themselves from him, or
Right.
just like, oh, I don't recall. But it's like, he was your right hand man for how many years? You tell me you don't know any fucking thing about this, or they're all lawyering up and just like not discussing it at all, like whatsoever.
Plead the fifth.
Yeah,
I'd like to bring out the
Yeah.
example of Bill Cosby, where like he was found guilty, locked up for a while, and then just like, oh, he's out. Like actually something fucked up with the process, and like he's
Yeah,
just
didn't he get out on like a mistrial or something?
something where like they were like had to call it back, and he's just like out.
Yeah, that's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
don't,
he just
don't
like
go
raped
for
how
drinks
many
with him.
women allegedly? Yeah, just don't have drinks with the guy.
Like, I
So-
just got out. Want to go get some drinks? No. No.
yeah, not a good idea.
Take your drink to the bathroom with you.
Yeah.
I follow the comedy podcast scene, and they sometimes speculate like, will he do another tour or like do any like events?
I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? I mean,
Not at bars.
not to compare Louis C.K., but I mean, Louis C.K. kind of bounced back from a somewhat similar situation.
Not a fair
Louis
comparison.
C.K. was impregnating plants. Bill Cosby
Yeah.
was diddling people after he knocked him out. So I
Yeah.
think Louis C.K. has
Yeah, there's
a
levels.
better comeback because unless you see plants starting to march around about being sexually harassed, then I don't think that you're going to have much issue
Yeah.
with Louis C.K. versus Cosby.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. This was going back to the Epstein files ever being released. This video is back to back. It shows Bongino, just like a clip, just about going back to 2023, and then just this most recent Fox interview a couple days ago with him and Kash Patel, so FBI director, deputy director of FBI. So.
Listen,
Good.
that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to get?
This is 2025.
He killed himself.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. And then Kash Patel was saying the same thing. Like, oh, yeah, he definitely killed himself. He killed himself. And he just had this, like, I mean, he always has the crazy
How did
eyes,
this clown get into this position, anyways?
That's what I mean. I don't know.
And looking mean and being loud about stuff, I guess.
I guess.
He was a former Secret
He looks
Service
mean.
agent.
Was he?
He was a former Secret Service agent during the Obama years. A funny story: he ran for U.S. Senate in Maryland back in, I want to say, it was 2012. And I was pretty involved with the Ron Paul grassroots campaign in Maryland, and quite a few individuals were still involved in the GOP. I was still a registered Republican during that time, just to support Ron Paul. But it was the Maryland GOP convention at Turf Valley where you got married, Jared. Where Luigi's family, the Mangiones, that's so. Yeah, their family. That's how they own this golf course, Libertarian Golf. It's like this huge golf course and like wedding, big event center. And long story short, he was there. The Ron Paul like Campaign for Liberty, like the grassroots, they had a whole suite. So it was like all like people I know, a lot of activists, a lot of friends. Like it was, big hangout. I just went there for that. Like I'm like, yeah, fuck the Maryland GOP. I'm just hanging out with. And long story short, he came up there, and this is 2012, so not everybody had. People still had flip phones back then. Not everybody was at the ready. With
yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody was like ready with their phones at the time. But I mean, there was still ability. I mean, but nobody recorded it. But I guarantee if someone filmed it, it would have been the end of his political career, his podcasting, his like grifting in the conservative circles, because one of my friends, Mike, he was the most mild-mannered, chill dude, like Ron Paul supporter. And he just asked him about a question, something about like support of Israel and the wars in the Middle East and non-interventionist foreign policy, etc. But just in the most mild-mannered, whatever. This dude went off on him, like got in his face, like physically, like almost assault, like was like, fuck you, man. If you saw the shit, like he had like a flashback from like, I don't know what.
Wow.
But he was like,
wait, was he in Iraq?
No, he was never, like he was a Secret Service agent, but he's like, you know, the level of enemies that want to kill Americans and blah, 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 like freaking the fuck. Like, and all of us, like everybody, not just like a lot of people were just taken aback. We're just like, whoa, dude. Like if you have, I don't know, maybe he was just having I don't know. Maybe he had some other things going on, but like a lot of us at that time were like, this guy, and the whole time for like months was like trying to court Ron Paul people. Like, hey, if you support Ron Paul, like, as senator, I support a lot of things. But then you'd ask the tough questions, like the third rail stuff, and then you're like, well, Israel's our greatest ally, and, like shit like that, where it's like, nah, dude, you're just like, run of the mill, neocon, like boomer con, just Republican, and you're just trying to like everybody saw most liberty people saw through it. Like, yeah, bro, you're not gonna get, maybe people will pull a lever for you, but you're not gonna get that. And plus it's Maryland. It's like, dude, you're a Republican, you're not gonna win here regardless. I mean, maybe he could have if he actually took like some strong, maybe not could have won, but if he actually took some strong like anti-war stances and civil, like if he actually embraced Ron Paul, he probably would have been better. But he just tried to pander, like tinker around the fringes, trying to. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I think he just got it,
man. He's just
exactly. That's what I mean. Like a lot of these people that circled that are in Trump's circle are just people that have just like kissed the ring and have grifted and say no. And just like with this big, beautiful bill, that just passed, okay, is a great bill. So, yeah, we can talk about
level spending.
Yeah,
let's. I want you to. I'm gonna need you to read this text for us.
Okay.
In its entirety.
All right, I'll do my best.
And I will put it on the screen here.
The one big, beautiful bill has passed the House of Representatives. This is arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. The bill includes massive tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax deductions when you purchase an American-made vehicle, like my friend Elon, great cars, Tesla, along with strong border security measures, pay raises for our ICE and Border Patrol agents, funding for the Golden Dome. It's going to be so golden. It's going to be the golden of golden domes. Trump savings accounts for newborn babies, and much, much more. So much more, folks. So much more. Great job by Speaker Mike Johnson and the House leadership. And thank you, every Republican who voted yes on this historic bill. It's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work and send this bill to my desk as soon as possible. There's no time to waste. The Democrats have lost control of themselves and are aimlessly wandering around, showing no confidence, grit, or determination. They have forgotten their landslide losses in the presidential election and are warped in the past, hoping someday to revive open borders for the world's criminals to be able to pour into this country, men to be able to play in women's sports and transgender for everybody.
Transgender for everybody.
They don't realize that these
Transgender
things
for everybody.
and so many more like them will never again happen.
Oh my god.
Dude, what a wow. Talk about
what a run on
his weave.
paragraph here.
The Trump weave. Wow, dude.
So let's see. There's a lot to unpack here, I think.
There's a lot. And I mean,
no tax on tips. That's dope.
Okay.
No tax on overtime.
No tax on
tax on overtime for who? For federal workers?
I think anybody.
Really?
From what I gather,
is that stuff?
Yeah, there's a few things in there that are legit. Like a few things that I think anybody, especially like libertarians, can get behind. Like no tax on anything.
Yeah.
Is definitely going to be a pro-libertarian thing. But that doesn't make it beautiful. There's so much more.
Yeah, I mean, so what is? I mean, pay raises for ICE? No. Funding for the Golden Dome. What's this Golden Dome thing? I think we have a separate article we can get to later, but
yeah, it's what they have over in Israel. That missile.
So it's like Iron Dome but golden.
Yeah, Golden Dome.
Gold is a soft metal, so I don't think that's a really good name.
Yeah, that's just Trump's shtick. Let's see, tax deductions when you purchase an American-made vehicle. I mean, yeah, tax deductions are good, but
yeah.
I mean, damn.
Trump. Wait, yeah. What is the Trump savings accounts for newborn babies? That's some fucking socialist bullshit right there.
I've vaguely heard my mom talking about it because being mom, she wants to have more grandbabies, so she talked about that. That I guess they're offering a tax deduction or more tax credits if you decide to have children or have more children.
Here we go.
We got the docs.
Okay. Pretty soon, every newborn American could be the proud owner of their very own Trump account. The Republican Party's One Big Beautiful Bill, which passed the House early Thursday, contains a pilot program that would automatically create a new tax-advantaged investment account pre-funded with $1,000 for each child born from the beginning of 2025 through the end of 2028. Yeah, I mean that's just communism right there. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's good to invest.
Trying to make some sort of like baby boom.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to encourage because I mean, you look at the birth rates in our country.
I mean, I'm all about having tax advantaged investment accounts, but I don't know about pre-funding them with $1,000. That's where I would draw the line there. But yeah, I mean, obviously investing early is something to be encouraged.
There's also be people that are, gonna have kids just to have the money.
Right. This kind of shit always has.
And they're gonna mistreat them and.
Yeah, this shit always has like bad incentives, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some, there'll probably be some regulation about how you can withdraw this money, but there's always loopholes and shit. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like there was like 150-year-old people getting Social Security. Yeah, people finding loopholes for stuff all the time. As well as, people who are undocumented getting like Medicaid, and the Democrats, of course, saying that it's not happening. Of course it's happening. There's loopholes all over the government, everywhere. Otherwise, like the crooks wouldn't be able to keep being crooks without it.
Yeah, that was what else? What else was in this bill that's kind of based? A lot of the gun laws, a lot of apparently any silencers or suppressors, are no longer.
Yeah.
So
wait, really? So you can just buy a suppressor without getting a stamp or whatever?
Supposedly, I was just hanging out with some of the Baltimore County libertarians at the table, and like both one of our biggest fans and a couple other individuals that are way more like gun nuts than I am were talking about that. But the problem with that is then it could go to this. I mean, not a problem. There's going to be a big run on them for a couple months, but then I guarantee you there are probably like states, like especially Maryland, will try to like, do it like a lawsuit or try to ban them or push legislation at the state level and then create like a whole, who knows, like, cause now it's to the states. So where you don't need like an FFL, from what I gather.
Mm.
So then it's not regulated by the feds, but now it could be regulated. So like some states, they're not going to give a shit. And then some states like, oh my God, this is, we got to stop this. So.
Right. Yeah, I get a lot of mailers from like emails from FPC, the Firearms Policy Coalition. And they in a recent one they made a point that they've been talking about like Trump's been talking about, I guess, getting rid of the ATF, right? Which sounds based, but like the reality is it would just get folded into like another department. The only way you can prevent this kind of like overreach is really in the courts, and that's kind of what FPC does, right? Like they take the stuff to court, and then eventually, hopefully, it gets up to the Supreme Court, and then they, actually uphold the Second Amendment. I mean, I don't really have much faith in any of that shit, but like, if you're gonna try something political, like that's the way to go.
Yeah, fight them in the court.
Yeah. So, but I mean, pro-gun stuff in a bill, I'm not gonna be mad about it.
But the Golden Dome,
the Golden Dome, yeah. What's this doc you have there on that? Let's pull that up.
I think it was just the video of Trump talking about and discussing this Golden Dome, and all it is just, I mean. I think this bill this big, beautiful bill, it's just increasing defense spending out you don't hear anything about like, well, maybe we should like scale. We got to cut spending. We're trillions in debt. Maybe, I don't know, scale back the military industrial complex. No, not that. So here's Trump discussing it.
I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors.
Look at his hair is wrong there.
And
top of his
Canada has
head.
called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be.
Is that the firmament in that picture, dude?
It is.
So as usual,
that's the Golden Dome. Is the firmament.
This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and it was very successful. And now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the one big, beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial.
How much? 25 billion?
Deposit.
What?
And we have.
But hey, Doge is making cuts, right?
Right. That's the other thing.
I think Elon Musk will think he wastes his time.
He totally wastes. How frustrated he's like. Hey, I wasted so much time thinking that.
Did he say he's done? Is that true?
Yeah, he's very obviously frustrated because they haven't cut any of the spending from what he cut with Doge. It's like he did all that work for nothing, got all this shit, and then they don't implement any of the cuts that he found. I'd be pissed too.
Dude, two times in there with what Trump was saying, he talked about space weapons. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I do feel like maybe he's doing this Golden Dome thing because you know how he tries to say his goal is peace. He wants peace. Okay, I like that. I respect that. But I feel like he's throwing a bone to the military-industrial complex with this Golden Dome thing. Because here's the thing: we have like amazing ballistic missiles. If anyone did try to come at us, we would probably be able to intercept for the most part. So this isn't really all that necessary because we're kind of like at the top of the food chain on the world. So I feel like he's really throwing a bone to the military-industrial complex to keep them happy because he wants peace elsewhere. But after this is done and over with, like, is this going to give them, the excuse to try to, poke and prod other countries to pop something off just to get things going? Because they're the ones that help fuel all that stuff and wars and everything. Like,
We have all
I feel
these
like this is
toys.
going
We
to
got
end
to
up
use them.
leading something. Exactly. And we just sold Qatar through Raytheon like billions of dollars. I forgot the exact amount, but I covered it like last Friday. And there's no way that it's going to sit stagnant at all and collect dust.
Yeah, and what do they? Ron Paul was just on with Dan McAdams the other day. I think it was the Liberty Report, and he's just like, you don't need a golden dome if you're not infuriating and pissing off other countries. Like, if you're not,
well, we do, but
yeah, but it's like if maybe if we just stop that, maybe if we had just actually try to have normal relations with Russia and China, because that's what this is what this golden dome. Because I mean, they do.
Well, and the reality is, like, Golden Dome or not, like, you're not going to be able to stop like 100 nuclear warheads heading at you. It's not. It doesn't matter what you have. Like, you're not going to be able to shoot them all out of the sky.
And they're talking like, I mean, Russia and China has these supersonic, like, or they're
you
like,
might get one of them,
beyond.
but like if they push all the buttons, like it's over. Like,
so let's just try to avoid that.
Just another jobs program, really. Another money laundering op to just keep this cycle going.
He said that it could stop a weapon if it was fired from space, which I feel, and now Trump's obviously a notorious shit talker, but like, okay, that's like a clue that like someone's got space weapons, like that must.
That's no moon.
Yeah, like
China's building a Death Star. I'm telling you, okay, they're building a Death Star. We gotta stop it with the Golden Dome.
I don't know if he like let that slip, or if he was talking shit, or if like we have like equipped satellites or something with missiles or beyond the satellite range or like whatever. But I don't
beyond
know.
the firmament.
Anytime they talk anything about space or whatever, I'm always like, that piques my interest of like, what are they talking about?
Or
so he did say that we have weapons that we can't even fathom that are top secret. He did mention something about that, and then later they came out saying that like time travel is possible in some way. So it would surprise me what they have in space, like really.
If it's real, I don't know. I don't think we can get past.
That's true.
We've got different levels.
Master gaslighters.
We have different levels of
conspiracy theory occurring here.
No, I mean, it was funny. I don't know how it came up. I was just scrolling through Twitter when it comes to time travel, and it was called the Philadelphia experiment. You guys ever hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
You have, Eric? You've heard about that?
Yeah, I think I've heard.
With that boat. They made a boat disappear, or whatever.
Yeah, it was in it was like in the Philadelphia shipyard, and they made it was in 1943, and it disappeared, and a couple. Now, that's the thing. Like, I remember seeing it on a documentary back in the 80s when I was like a kid, and it was about the Bermuda Triangle, and then they brought that up. And, it was like a VHS, and I was just intrigued by it. And for some reason, I was just like scrolling through Twitter, and it was this, it was on YouTube, and it was this YouTube channel called Bedtime Stories. And they were like, the Philadelphia experiment. I was like, fuck, like I haven't gone down the rabbit hole on that in like forever. So and then there was like an 80s movie. It was such a shitty sci-fi movie from the 80s. It came out in 1984. And I mean, it was total campy. It was pretty campy. But I don't think they did a really good job really explaining it, because so it probably happened. It did happen. They covered it up. A lot of people went away. A lot of people went missing. A lot of Navy sailors went missing it was covered up. And then it's like, hey, let's do an 80s campy movie to kind of make this seem like it's just all science fiction. It's not really real. But I digress. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't think time travel is possible in that sense.
Well,
what do you think?
What sense? Well, we know it's possible, right? And theoretically, if you go super fast, like, I mean, we time travel even just around the planet, right? You like go different time zones. If you travel east, you gain.
Well, yeah, but you're not traveling backwards in time, like in the actual era of time.
Yeah, backwards.
Like, yes, time moves at different speeds
like
based on special relativity, but you're not moving backwards, right? You're moving forwards at a slower rate of time, if that makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. But like,
No, it
time moves
doesn't.
differently than if you're on Earth.
What's that?
Like, doesn't time like move differently in space than when you're on Earth, though?
Yeah, exactly. So like
Like,
they
you're-
did an
yeah,
experiment where they had
yeah.
like twins and they put like one in space and like one stayed on the ground. I think this was a real experiment. And
Might have been a movie. I don't know.
but yeah, I forget.
You're gonna be the
movie.
space baby. You're
I
gonna
forget
be
how
the
it works, but
space-
one of them like aged less than the other one, basically. So yeah, it does happen, but that's not time travel, in the sense of like I'm gonna go back to like the medieval times and have a leg of lamb or
Right.
some shit.
Brandon has a. Oh, wrong one.
I've time traveled. Yeah, I've time traveled before. The recipe was 1 liter of tequila, 5 joints, and a bacon cheeseburger. Yeah, that's also time traveling. Like I said, you can travel forward in time. Can't go back.
Yeah.
Was it?
No, if we can go back, we can definitely see if, in fact, Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself or not. Turn those cameras
Right.
back on. Go back in time. Turn the camera back on. Catch him sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be good to do.
Yeah, I don't think
probably would do other
Or
stuff to maybe
1913.
prevent him from
Yeah.
molesting children. And but yeah, we
Yeah,
could
how
throw
far
the
back
cameras.
would you go?
Mm.
What would you do?
Would you kill baby Epstein? Every time I ask Phil that, he gets like upset. He's like, "I wouldn't kill baby Hitler. You can't kill babies." It's like, yeah, but if you know they're going to become dictators that murder a bunch of people, like, I think it's okay to kill babies.
Get
in
him
that
adopted
sense.
by a very nice Jewish family.
Yeah, there you go. Or just like, don't fail him out of art school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your art is great.
Yeah,
just
It's amazing.
like, hey, it's
Continue.
all good, dude.
Yeah,
just totally like Deadpool everything. Just hop through time and just like correct all the stuff. You know, like the start of the Federal Reserve. You know, end that. You know, make the Titanic not
Blow
sink.
up, just
because
blow up
all
Jekyll
the
Island.
people that were against it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do
The
it.
cla-
Fix it all. Fix
the
it all.
classic meme. The classic meme with like the women with the time with the women with the time machine. Like, I'm your great granddaughter. It's like men with a time machine. Granddad, we're raiding Jekyll
Oh.
Island. No, we must. Like,
Karl
Well-
Marx, come back here.
yeah,
I just want
right.
to talk.
Well, time is like a construct, right? It doesn't actually exist, but we perceive it in such a way that we think it does.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how you look at time, like,
Because you can't measure it against anything else.
yeah,
It just is a thing on its own. I don't know. And I listened to people that talked about the remote viewing, where they were able to remote view
Mm.
in the past or the future with enough accuracy that it's believable. I don't know. There's just paradoxical
Mm.
stories out there about time and what we experience. And then we throw near death experiences into that, where people like experience like their lives. It's like, is this some kind of simulated reality that's stored on some kind of database where then like you can perceive it all at once? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
in the habit,
live in
like,
simulation.
if you travel back in time, it's like, how do you isolate the state of your mind and body from everything else, right? Like,
Yeah, going backwards
Oh.
doesn't seem to make sense, because then all the planets and whatever would have to like go back. Like, I don't get that at all. But also,
yeah, like if you were
Everything's a
somehow
mystery.
outside of
Make
it and you
Pluto
could
a
look
planet
into it,
again.
then fine. But like,
there you go.
anyways.
If you're in some dimension beyond time,
Right? But as
now
soon
we're
as you
talking.
come in contact with it, that I think creates problems.
Yep. Concur.
I need to smoke some weed now.
Or should we maybe close out with the Clown World National Park? It's
Clown World National Park.
Oh.
the national.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for our Clown World segment. Yeah, this is brace yourself. We're almost in Pride Month.
Mm.
Every year
Mm.
just becomes it's so exhausting.
Some carry
What a
hate.
lovely
We carry the
lady.
largest trans
Lady?
pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural. The Trump administration and transphobes would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species
It
that
is.
can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet
No, they're
Earth.
not.
So call it a protest,
You're the worst park ranger
call it a
ever.
celebration. We are bringing elevation to liberation. They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries. So we raise this flag higher than ever before, so every trans person knows that they have people that love them in their corner. The people united will never be defeated. Some carry hate.
So
I love how the clownfish thing. We're not clownfish though.
Well, and also clownfish don't have medical procedures, right? They transition naturally.
And at
Whereas
the
human
end,
beings have to have surgery to do it, right? So that by definition is not natural.
at the end, he
And
said they
artificial
changed
hormones.
sex.
What's that?
At the end, he said they changed, or they, or whatever that person is, said they changed sex
because of the
But he
chemicals in the
didn't say
water.
gender. Well,
They turn
that's
the
two
freaking
different
frogs
things.
gay.
Exactly. I have I'll save it for the after hours. Speaking of this trans shit, because I'm just so exhausted by it. But I'll tell the story a
Pendulum
little bit
swinging
later.
back though.
What's that? Libertarian goth?
Pendulum is swinging back. Oh, the pendulum is
Yeah.
swinging back because people are just like, you lecture people long enough and they're just gonna be like, okay, fuck you. No, I'm just not gonna deal with it anymore. And honestly, like if somebody has legit gender dysphoria, like I have complete empathy. I have body dysphoria or dysmorphia because I have like my own issues, but so I can sympathize with that. But the thing is that people are jumping on it like a bandwagon and don't even have what it takes to like the actual medical condition. They're actually appropriating an actual medical condition. And that's what has become insufferable, is because they're lecturing everybody to try to convince everybody they have this, whenever most of them really don't. There are people that do, but most really don't.
And it should only make
offensive.
yeah, exactly. And to your point, it should only people that genuinely have that, it should make up like 0.00 I don't know whatever the math is. It should only, but
it should be like 10% of the high school.
Not even. It should be way. It shouldn't be 10. It should be like.
It shouldn't require like a discussion about bathrooms.
Yes, it shouldn't. This should just be such a non-issue. It should just be something that's like. But COVID, it was a mass psychosis operation, and when you look at it, who's benefiting from this? Big pharma. Medical industrial complex, and it's just a part of a wider agenda. It's a depopulation agenda, folks. Ultimately, that's what it is.
And the whole Marxist the oppressed versus the oppressors too.
Yes,
you got to continue. If there's no more oppressed, you got to continue to make more oppressed. And for some reason, they're not really oppressed, so they got to go on TikTok and make videos about how they get misgendered or whatever to make it appear they're being oppressed, because there has to be some oppressor versus oppressed going on at all times. It's just all it ties back to some Marxist bullshit. And, at the root of it, that's what it is. Now, of course, obviously the ones who really have the medical condition aren't, but the ones who are appropriating it do that shit because they're all on the board, like on the bandwagon, because it's trendy and all that. Just pushing fucking Marxists is what they are.
Exactly. I didn't dub the term, but the podcast, it's like one of my favorite listens besides this amazing podcast. But no agenda. Adam Curry came up with. It's called trans Maoism, where it's like in the Maoist revolution in China, you had to get the younger people to go against the old. The communist idea is to go against tradition and go against the old. So and you had that where it's like, oh, you don't understand, mom, dad. You don't understand. And then you have these parents like, my kid's a trans kid. It's like, no, you're just a shitty fucking parent. You're a shitty parent, an awful parent. It's like, what are you doing? But that's become a cultural norm, and it's all part of it. You're dead on. But I have a story I'll talk about in the after hours. We got some other stuff we got to talk about the after hours. So, Libertarian Goth, you want to hang out in the after hours and with us for a little bit? We're going to record it right after this. Okay, cool.
For a little bit, yeah.
Sounds good. Do you want to plug away anything you want to plug away before we get out of here?
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, I did recently start a music alt culture news site. I am looking for writers. It is brand spanking new. It is like music news, alternative culture news, usually like metal and like industrial, like the scene. But from a libertarian perspective, not like Metal Hammer and all the other bullshit that is from a leftist perspective that's going to shame you for not liking a certain band or their politics. It's going to be from a liberty perspective.
Cool.
And I am looking for more writers for the alternativesovereign.com. And of course, libertariangoth.com. It is the biggest alt culture geared liberty apparel store online, shoes, stickers, shirts, everything like leggings, swimsuits. I have it all.
Nice.
And
for those
so
listening, you gotta make America goth again.
oh yeah, this is like
Yeah,
my biggest seller is my hats. Make America
Yeah.
Goth again, or I have Make America Metal again and Make America Punk again. And then for the emo boys and girls, I got Make America Emo again.
Okay, well that's Ben Weir's. That's his realm.
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
more for him, but I've
Yeah.
sold a couple of those. I still
Can
sold
you-
a couple.
Make Dad Rock great again? Like no.
Make what?
Can you
Big
please
Dad Rock?
explain? Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Just
you.
rock in
Oh no,
general.
go ahead, Eric.
Go ahead, Eric.
I was gonna say, can you please explain what you mean by alt culture or or
Alternative
whatever?
culture. Alternative culture, as in, like you have like the goth scenes, you have like the metal scenes, and goth overlaps a lot with metal in some ways. In fact, I'm actually kind of I have it on my extended bio that I'm too metal for the goths or too goth for the metalheads, so I just kind of whatever. But it punk. This is a punk rock libertarians, come on, like that.
Yeah.
Punk rock has its own kind of scene, kind of like thing going on in a way, and it's just alternative culture. It's something beyond that. It's usually the kids who were rebellious, the kids who were, I guess, in a way seen as outcasts back in the day, and kind of gravitated towards their music and the music scenes, as well as like styles and whatnot. So the alternative cultures, the big ones, like I said, goth, metal, punk, emo. Those are the biggest ones. Of course, there are subcultures within the subcultures. But for the big ones, yeah, the four big ones for alternative cultures, yeah.
Nice. Check it out, everybody.
Check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I add one thing before we go to after hours?
Yeah.
I think so I just had an idea for you guys for your podcast where like in a previous episode you guys were talking about doing events and maybe a fundraiser event, and I thought there was a lot of good ideas. The 500th episode was super fun and awesome and a great milestone. I was thinking maybe like definitely you guys would do well with the events, but also doing like a annual awards, like guest of the year, moment of the year, like some kind of look back episode to like
That requires like work.
yeah it would,
Yeah.
but something just
That's a
like
good
or like
idea, though.
like I
down
think
for
about how Kill Tony does it. They have like the Kill Tony Hall of Fame and they do like awards. That's like obviously a huge like comedy podcast show, but I was like,
Yeah.
you guys could do that, something
Like Hotep and Uncle Hotep do like the grifties, like the Grifters of the Year award in different categories. It's pretty, but yeah.
or just
kinda
like
same idea.
going over your highlights or something.
We don't have any. It's all low lights.
Yeah, we'll just what's the best low light we have?
Yeah.
What's the lowest of the lows? I don't know. That's a good idea. We can start brainstorming.
Well, welcome
about
to
that.
the PRL board meeting. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
And
we'll,
you guys-
we'll present it to the board.
You guys could sell tickets to events like that 500th episode ruled.
Maybe some of our
Yeah.
fans can send in some nominations for
Yeah, some ideas.
awards.
Yeah, we did a live episode with a Crab Feast Libertarian Goth. Well, we're all pretty much Maryland.
Forgot about Auto
so-
Nipple.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, that was. But
Auto Blow.
yeah, that was. We'll talk about it
Classic.
in the after hours.
Yeah,
for
we'll get
those
there.
that- Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for the regular show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As we've been discussing, we have an after-hours show. You can get access to that if you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/punkrocklibertarians. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to that after-hours show. And if you do $10 a month, you get a T-shirt. That's pretty neat. And yeah, and those T-shirts are available on libertariancountry.com. Eric is currently wearing one if you're watching. And yeah, check those out. And yeah, until next time, live free
or die.